Accept. Okay, we are, hold on, I'm supposed to share. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 47, verses 7 through 10. Let me share my screen. Okay, text 7. Nishvam tyajanti ganika akalpam nripatim praja adita vidya acharyam ritvijo datta dakshinam. Translation by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Prostitutes abandon a penniless man, subjects an incompetent king, students their teacher once they have finished their education, and priests a man who has remunerated them for a sacrifice. Text 8. Translation. Birds abandon a tree when its fruits are gone, guests a house after they have eaten, animals a forest that has burnt down, and a lover the woman he has enjoyed, even though she remains attached to him. Verses 9 and 10. Translation. Thus speaking, the gopis, whose words, bodies, and minds were fully dedicated to Lord Govinda, put aside all their regular work now that Krishna's messenger, Sri Uddhava, had arrived among them. Constantly remembering the activities their beloved Krishna had performed in his childhood and youth, they sang about them and cried without shame. Purport. The word balyayo here indicates that ever since their childhood, the gopis had been completely in love with Krishna. Thus, even though social custom dictated that they not reveal their love to others, they forgot all external considerations and openly wept before Krishna's messenger, Uddhava. Stop sharing. Krishna Prabhu, would you like to do the invocation?
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामो राम रामो हरे हरे.
Thank you, Krishna Prabhu. We feel that you have invoked Krishna's presence. Okay, so would anyone like to share? I'm going to text Bhima Prabhu. He's not here. He's probably in Maya. So I'm going to rescue him. He wakes up at 4 and he brags about it. But what's the use? Where is he when we need him? Yeah, see, I'm being cranky today. Because, my false ego says, yeah, this is disrespectful. He was supposed to give class. He said he would do it. He didn't bother to tell you ahead of time. So that kind of hurts. And why does it hurt? Because I take it personal. Well, whereas I shouldn't. There's nothing to do with me. The center of the universe is Krishna. It's between them and Krishna. Ananda Bihari's ego has nothing to do with that. Yeah. So, and we look at the verses, we see that sometimes we feel that we are separated from the Lord. But where do we go from there? We can choose to be cranky, or we can choose to appreciate the messenger. Who's Krishna will still send the messenger. Krishna will put us in the material world because we asked him, but he will put a messenger there so we can redeem ourselves. I remember when Gaurangi first went to a public school, she shared with us. She said, I had no idea that there were so little devotees out there. That was the first time when she came to realize that not everybody in this world is a devotee. We're a devotee family, the temple. That was her little circle of the world. And then we sent her to public school. And this is the first time that she realized that not everybody is a devotee. So we should appreciate the devotees that are there in our lives. They are our Udavas. They have qualities of Krishna. Krishna, they have qualities of the Guru, of Srila Prabhupada. We should appreciate that, like the gopis in the verses that we're discussing. Again, this is a community class. Feel free to unmute yourself and share something in glorification of Krishna, maybe in relation to the verse. Adipusha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Interestingly enough, Krishna consciousness applies to exactly what's happening in our life, in our community. And New York City is being challenged right now by an influx of tens of thousands of people swarming, running here to try to take shelter of this particular country. And we have a spectrum of responses to this. There are some people that say, close the border, there's not enough. We can't help these people, there's too many of them and we won't have enough for ourselves. And then on the other hand, there's some people that are saying, well, we've got this Ellis Island place where so many immigrants came. There was this Irish immigration swarm. There was Italian immigration swarm. There was, after the different wars, people came from Vietnam, even from Iraq, and different people. And it says there, give us your huddled masses yearning to be free. It says there, let them come here. Let's try to share with them. So there's this abundance mentality and this scarcity mentality. And definitely it's a challenge, but our own perception, we're distributing Krishna's prasadam for the homeless, and we're seeing an increase of people coming. And they've left their homeland. This is just a material analogy, but spiritually there's a counterpart. Um, Basically with the clothes on their back. It's so heartbreaking that they feel so uncomfortable and so um, afraid of their place where they were living before, that they're walking hundreds and hundreds of miles and coming to a foreign place. And as devotees, we can also choose those kinds of responses. We can say, Krishna, I have no idea how to do this. I don't have the resources, but if you want to show us how to help people, definitely there's no shortage of devotional service, and somehow or other Krishna's giving us facility to increase the amount that we're cooking and to give it. And if you could hear the voices of these people when they receive prasadam, it's so tender and humble, and they say, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, it's very quite moving. And I'm praying to Krishna that I have the faith to persevere with the abundance mentality that Krishna can sustain. And they talk about how the planet is overpopulated and the best thing is to reduce the population. But Prabhupada kept telling us there's no shortage of anything except Krishna consciousness. And we can desire, we can try, and we can tell Krishna I'm available, and watch the miracles happen. Anyway, I don't know what anybody else's response is to this news of tens of thousands of people coming into the city where we live, pouring in day after day. I'd like to hear what other people have to say.
How does that relate to the verse? We need to tie it to the verse. I don't want to go too far astray.
The verse is about Uddhava coming to the gopis and telling them that Krishna consciousness is available, even under their apparent difficult circumstance. We might think, I can't be Krishna conscious under this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know how you always say, when we think materially, there may not be enough resources for certain things sometimes. But when we speak in terms of devotional service, there's no shortage of service and it's available. And there's no need to fight or compete. But material resources are limited. It's just part of the programming of this world, like pain, birth, old age. Everybody, materialistic consciousness means there's not enough. That's exactly what it means. That's our insecurity.
Srila Prabhupada,
And then
stop. Prabhupada came here to give. He also came here without resources, like these immigrants. But he didn't come here to get, he came here to give. And Krishna provided, just like Krishna providing the sari for Draupadi. Krishna can, will, does, has done it before, will continue to provide. And in spite of our tendency to look at things materially, there's another way to look at it, Shastra Chakshus, that Krishna...
Yeah, that's right. What's that verse? Do the birds not eat? Srila Prabhupada would often bring the elephant analogy. Elephant gets 400 pounds of food.
We've not, but Solomon and all his studies have my family. The birds of the field don't sow, but Krishna providing for them. And it's just our mentality, just like Prabhupada says that about the cat. When the cat has the kitten in its mouth, the kitten is thinking, okay, I'm being carried beyond my ability to control, but my good mother is taking care of me by holding me by the scruff of my neck. But we can also choose to have the mentality of the rat in the cat's mouth. The rat is thinking, now I'm in trouble. I'm in the jaws of death. So Krishna is floating the planets in space effortlessly. I'm preaching to myself here because I'm a tendency to think, there's not enough, there's not enough. Stop it. Don't think like that. And if Krishna wants me to starve to death, then we will starve, quietly. Be satisfied with that, like the three clap thing with Shiva. But Krishna is providing. Krishna has provided. We saw
Yeah,
the
let,
miracle.
let me see. Krishnadaya Prabhu, do you know that verse I'm talking about? Do the trees not drink or something? Do the birds not have enough food? What's that verse? I'm trying to look that up.
I'm not able to recollect.
Not able. Okay, I'll keep looking. It's a very nice verse.
Do the bellows not breathe? Do not the animals eat and sleep and pass them? And are we like that? Is that our focus? No. We're serving Krishna.
We're serving Krishna. Yeah, Krishna will provide. Krishna will give us enough resources to do what he wants us to do. I'm quoting you, Adipurusha Prabhu.
Very good.
Krishna will give us enough resources to do what he wants us to do. If we want to do what our ego, our conditioning wants us to do, then good luck with that. Karma is set up for that. Karma is very cruel. But if we want to shift into the realm of service, then there's no limitations. And Srila Prabhupada has proved that.
Does anybody else have any response to all this tens of thousands of people coming into the city? How does Krishna consciousness apply? What is your mentality?
Kartik says, there is enough in this world for every person's need, but not enough for one man's greed. Mahatma Gandhi. Jai. Thank you, Kartik. So the overwhelming understanding on this call is that there's enough. I want to find that verse. I'm going to mute myself, and I'm comfortable with silence, by the way. If there's silence, I'm comfortable. I'm going to go look up that verse.
Hare Krishna, I would like to add some things. I want to just say that it's very easy to get overwhelmed looking from kind of like at the outside perspective or on numbers or on statistics. But what I've understood is that, bhakti operates between one heart and another. And then that string expands from that heart into another, which creates, a circle of connection or a web of connection, or the entire family, as Srila Prabhupada has created it. But still, it was one heart at a time. And so I feel like the question is more of just like, what is ours to do in a way on a smaller scale, or like the smallest possible scale individually, that we can actually commit to and really maintain? And can we expand that, which is, exactly how service starts or how chanting starts. Like most of us had never started chanting 60 rounds from day one. We had to build up, and so was with the service. And I feel like what comes to me is just simply like, can we actually all in a way commit to, taking care for a single heart that comes our way, or those that do, and recognize that we are already given a service and to do it as best as we can. And perhaps to also invite ourselves into stretching just a little more, knowing that there is an emergency of needs. And so, and also trusting that like there is natural mobilization that happens when we see such dire situations and are asked to step more into being exemplars of compassion. So that's what I wanted to add.
Maybe I just want to add a couple of points. The first two verses, it reflects the theme of getting our works done, and then after that, abandoning the people. So Brahmatirtha Prabhu's joke, I just thought of repeating, like somebody wants to come to Bhakti Center and then they want to park their car, and then they're desperately searching for a parking space, and then they say, Krishna, please, give me some parking space so that I can attend the Bhakti Center program. And all of a sudden they find it. A blue ray appears from the sky, and then they find a parking space. And then they get in and say, Krishna, thank you. I found it by myself. So, also we fail to acknowledge the things, that are being given to us so many times. As said, so there is enough already for everybody's need, as Adipurush Prabhu, Kartik Prabhu, they are saying. So only just we need to acknowledge what Krishna is providing all throughout. So rather than complaining, sometimes we go into the complaining stage. This also correlates with the famous line, like, bhakti can come in the heart, which is ripened with gratitude. So we should not leave that element of gratitude. Like all those examples given in the first two verses, like guests, they are done, once they get their food. So, but so we need to be grateful. Even the priest also, once he gets the remuneration, that is over, his business is over. But the idea of priest is to do a well-wishing thing for the people who are who are organizing the yajna and everything like that. But interestingly, if you look at the last two verses, 9 and 10, so this is the mood of gopis or any person who is having a lot of love. So it's like there's a concept in Vedic literature called Ninda Stuti. So you keep complaining, at the same time you're glorifying. So they're indirectly they're trying to glorify Krishna. So they're just opening their heart because somebody who is intimate, who came, with whom you can share all your feelings. Suppose somebody is sharing all their heart feelings, we should not think they are negative people. So we understand that they are going a lot in their heart and they're sharing it out. That does not mean that they're negative people. So gopis, they're using all these different analogies for Krishna, but at the same time, last two verses, they say how they are recollecting the pastimes of Krishna, childhood pastimes and everything, Balya, and they are trying to glorify. So this is like Dhanadhar Swami Maharaj, somebody says, it's like spiritual dynamics, so emotions. So these are all like they're great devotees and they're expressing their pain, at the same time their joy of remembering Krishna. So yeah, these are some points. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, the joy of remembering Krishna. That's my takeaway from your contribution, Krishna Prabhu. I was thinking of this pastime from the Bible. I'll do my best to paraphrase. Jesus was once asked, "Why is there evil in the world? Why is there pain in the world? If it's God's creation?" And he was shown a blind man who was blind from birth. He was asked, Jesus, so is that his fault or his parents' fault? And Jesus said, it's not his fault that he's blind, and it's not his parents' fault that he's blind either. He's blind so that God can manifest his glory. And then he made the guy see, something like that. So I was thinking that we may see all kinds of things outside, refugee crisis and all that. Why is Krishna allowing this? Krishna is allowing us to make choices that will make us feel pain so that we can come to our senses and call out to the Lord sincerely. Damodar Priya?
Yeah, I just wanted to reflect on what Adipurusha Prabhu has shared and Ananta Manjari Prabhu has shared, and now you, that I feel like a running theme through that is the idea of kind of the radical personalism of Bhakti and the radical personalism of Krishna, and how he's in everybody's hearts. So if we're, instead of, as like Ananda Manjari Prabhu was saying, like instead of seeing it as like these giant numbers that can be overwhelming, but just seeing it as like the individuals, like the hearts of the people, and every single one of those people who are seeking shelter have Krishna in their hearts. And if you could find a way of, like if in your neighborhood, of somebody who is an immigrant that you can reach out to and just connect with, and, offer them your support and your encouragement, by sharing prasadam, by, sharing just a kind word or a smile. I think that's really powerful. So just the idea of like that radical personalism, like I love the idea Ananda Manjari Prabhu said of just like looking around us and like just very, even if it's just a slight expanding of our circle of connection, and seeing like who else around us can we connect with, who else around us can we support them, encourage them in their connection to God, whether they call God Krishna or Jesus or Allah, just kind of having that connection. And also reflecting back on when Ananda Bihari Prabhu, you were saying about like, instead of us getting upset when these problems come about, maybe seeing them as possibilities. And it reminds me of when Rasheshwara Madhava Das Prabhu, he gave class, and how for his first class he gave that really amazing class. And I was looking at my notes where he said how it's so important for us to move into a miracle mindset and a realm of possibilities. So maybe it's just seeing all these difficulties and challenges that are coming into the community as an opportunity to trust Krishna and to see like what Krishna miracles can come about, what possibilities are possible. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I found that verse I was looking for. It's Srimad Bhagavatam 10.3.18. Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe all around us? Do the beasts not eat and discharge semen? And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the human life is not meant for economic development, he says, the materialist will argue that life in the tree and life in the man cannot be compared because the tree cannot enjoy life by eating palatable dishes or by enjoying sexual intercourse. In reply to this, Bhagavatam asks whether the other animals like dogs and hogs living in the same village with human beings do not eat and enjoy sexual life. The specific utterance of Srimad Bhagavatam in regard to other animals means that persons who are simply engaged in planning a better type of animal life, consisting of eating, breathing, and mating, are also animals in the shape of human beings. A society of such polished animals cannot benefit suffering humanity, for an animal can easily harm another animal, but rarely do good. So in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing this point where a tree may live a very long life, 500,000 years. And then he says, Lord Chaitanya lived only 48 years by material calculation. But what was the impact of Lord Chaitanya's life? And he's reiterating that there's no material solution. We're not meant to overcome material problems by material means, because it will only polish our animalistic life. We'll become polished animals. So the solution is always spiritual. We don't just give them food, we give them prasadam, like Adipurusha Prabhu does. It's not just food, it's prasadam. It's also books. It's also affectionate glance or affectionate words. Because people are in a difficult situation. And
Did you give the verse again? The one that you finally found? What's the numbers?
Yeah, it's Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.18. 2.3.18. Okay. Any other reflections? We see Laka Yogimidi Manuj, and we see, where did I see him? Bhava, join the call. Good morning, Prabhus. Thank you for joining. This is a community class. If you'd like to share some realization, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna. I would just like to say about these verses that I find quite interesting is that it talks in the beginning, the first two verses are talking about just how the false ego take over and our sort of not our best behavior is, very common. And then in the end, we get this beautiful example how the surrender of Krishna without shame in that full leap of faith is what's the final message for us to take away in those verses today. And this is something that I'm struggling with greatly lately. And it just seems that all roads are pointing to take this final, or not final, but this greater leap of faith towards Krishna. And as many challenges that have been or being presented to me daily, that message just keeps coming through in so many different ways. And yet I'm still at that threshold, little scared to do that full commitment, and just take that full step. Baby steps have come somewhat easy in moments, somewhat more difficult in others, but that one big step to cross that threshold, and this idea of sing the glories without shame for any of it, is still the process. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bruce. Don't stand in the threshold. That's where Hiranyakashipu got killed. Please step in.
I'm trying, my friend. I am trying.
And it's not just
I feel the swords, though. I definitely feel the swords. I'm ducking. I'm dodging. I'm catching the odd nick here and there. I've got my wounds, but I am trying.
We see that.
Prabhu, I don't know if it's related to your share, but when you spoke, it reminded me of how when I first tried going to Harinam, that in the beginning of the Harinam Sankirtan, like when the devotees who do the congregational chanting of the holy names in the subway, how at first I felt a little self-conscious, and I would always stand like in front of them, like at a pillar with my back to the pillar, facing them, and I would join them, but it took a while for me to actually feel comfortable, like going and sitting with them and being in that. So I don't know if it's related, but I know that once I did, I realized how it really was working with my ego in the sense of like my struggles of like, do I look good? What if someone from work passes by and recognizes me? And then all these kind of introspection questions would come up of like, well, what's more important to me? Looking good, having some kind of sense of like, oh, this person at work who doesn't really even know me, like we just work together. Yeah, we spend lots of hours together, but do they know me? Like, what's more important? Spending time with the devotees and chanting the holy names and having that beautiful kind of time with Krishna, or looking good and feeling safe. And again, I don't know if it's related at all to what you were shared, but it made me think of that, and then how empowering it was to just keep doing that until to the point where when we left, obviously I couldn't do it too much because I was really unhealthy, but when I was healthy, I would like be dancing and in the Harinam, and a lot of times people would get attracted to dancing with you and like interacting, and it was so joyful. And I'm so grateful for those pockets of time. It didn't happen all the time when I was able to let go of my ego and just be in that mood without worrying about what other people were thinking. So again, I don't know if it relates at all, but it made me think of that.
Yeah, it does in some ways, but where for me it's deeper commitment to what I choose to and learn every day is like, we talk about, like, I think it was just the other day, it was mentioned to walk the talk. And, I don't feel like my process has been unsincere, but I feel like the only way to go even deeper into this, to become more sincere, is to cross that threshold and just really take that step. And at the moment, that other side, there's some distance there. There's a few floors below the level ground, where the next room is just an easy transition. There's still like a subfloor, if you will, or like a basement, where I just don't feel like it's going to be such an easy transition. And I guess that is my ego, that can't surrender fully to Krishna. But I'm working towards leveling, so it's just an easy transition. Um, and something that was said recently, in class, I believe it was yesterday, that no prayer. Yes, Champak mentioned it yesterday about Maharaj, where he said, no prayer without humility is worth it. It's pointless in a way. Then I thought, well, your intention is to pray with humility, so doesn't that count for anything? But if you're not going to come to your prayer sincere, I understand, why bother. So yeah, this leap of faith is just a deeper. It's another level to the relationship with Krishna. I want to learn to love him more. I want to be closer to him. And I said I'm skiing yesterday and these next couple of days. And I said to myself, driving up here yesterday, I was like, Krishna and I are going skiing. Before it was, I'm going skiing. But now I'm like, I'm we're going together.
What about
So that was a
Radharani?
nice thing.
Are you
Huh?
taking Radharani and Lord Chaitanya?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyhow, I've talked too much. Hare Krishna.
It's
Thank
not too
you.
much, Bruce Babu. And I also just want to say that when you said, like, if you're not going to pray with sincerity or humility, like, what's the point? But remember, there was a class weeks ago. I forget who said it, but he said, remember that we can always bring our struggles to Krishna. And if we can't pray sincerely, then we can pray to Krishna. Krishna, please help me pray sincerely. Or if we can't be humble in our praying, we could say, Krishna, please help me be humble in my praying. And that's still a conversation we can have with him. Because the
That
prayer
sounds very
is
much
also
like
about having
Dayal.
a relationship with him. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the process that I'm learning, is that, facing so many challenges these past weeks, and especially this just a couple of days ago, when awful situation has happened. And I was able to protect those involved and protect myself, and also um, leave an underlying message that forgiveness is what's going to move us forward. And I think it was Adi that spoke of this just recently, about just the power of forgiveness. I think that was just a couple of days ago. And it's key. It's really, no, it was Bhima. It was Bhima that spoke of this. How it was just it's key to, just deepening that relationship and being free to love. So, Hare Krishna.
Wow, Bruce, this is so amazing and inspiring. Thank you.
Bhima had his hand up.
You were muted, Bhima Prabhu.
Yes, Haribol, that was a mistake. I came too late to the class to actually speak on anything. The only thing that I would say that when we wish to pray sincerely is we have to remember Queen Kunti. Let the calamities happen again and again. Adi is always fond of quoting Martin Luther King that we not only carry our cross, but we have to be ready to die upon that cross. There's no smooth, easy transition to surrender. We came down here to fight, and fight we will, right up until we surrender. And we surrender when we're beaten, and our prayers become sincere when we are beaten. I've known, well, actually, I won't get into that, but all I know is that for me and my own experience, that one feels the deepening when one when one suffers. You feel the deepening when you suffer, because then you have to turn back to the material. You have to look to the cause of your suffering, and it's usually some activity or behavior on your own behest, your own free will. And if it's not that directly, you can definitely trace it to Adiatmik, Adibodhik, and Adidivik. So we've been told what the material world is all about. And until we come to understand who gave us this place to go try to figure our independence, and then we understand that, the things that we are attracted to are actually have a source. And then we turn when we're beaten. And when we turn when we're beaten, we're knocked to our knees. Krishna doesn't allow anybody else or anything else to come between you and him, and he will knock them all away. He will, while we're skiing, he will run us into a tree or kick us with a horse, So you can shake your head all you want, Prabhu, but if you take Krishna with you, anyways, be prepared. Ours is not to question why, ours is but to do and die, was the famous battle cry of men in World War I, breaching the trenches into certain slaughter by the German machine guns. We come to surrender, and sometimes that surrender comes in the form, always comes in the form of, and I don't try to wax poetic here, but in the bullets that are the very seconds that are our time leading, as some of us have experienced as we get older. Every day is the march. Every challenge is something that penetrates into you and hopefully wakes us up to what's really going on. As Adi is always saying, there's another world. There's another world, and the veil is very thin. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Yeah, there's another world. That's where Henry Prabhu is situated all the time. We see Jeffrey Eckler is here. Jeffrey, welcome back, Prabhu. Good to see you. Yogi Media Manuj has his hand up. Yogi?
Hi, Krishna. Good morning, everyone. So yeah, I really like that message with like going skiing with Krishna. That's beautiful. One of the things that I was saying to a person this week that I was mentoring was along the lines of really acknowledging God internally, and always sort of feeling like you're in his presence. And that is very transformative, but combining that also with seeing God in everything externally. And so the way I put it was living a life where you're experiencing Krishna with Krishna. And so that is beautiful to see, as we know, him being the all-doer. It's very much an experience of Krishna, but also with Krishna internally. And that's the important part, I think. And the transformative part is to really, and that's why I really appreciated when you said, I'm going with Krishna, and that's beautiful. And you can also go with Radha, and you can also go with all these other beautiful conscious beings. You just have to choose to consciously acknowledge them, and they're there. And that's just how beautiful the conscious reality is. And so just doing more of that. Personally, this past 2 weeks, I took another niyam to not watch TV and movies anymore. And it's been a great 2 weeks. It's, I was already not enjoying it. I was just like back in my habits from my prior younger days. But it became like, while I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, I'm here with you, Krishna. Like, this is what I'm experiencing of you. I don't like some of the messages I'm hearing here. this is not the greatest experience of you, and I'm here with you, and I could probably be doing something else like bhajan or bhakti, that's like reading your books, and together we're enjoying this a lot more. I'm feeling better with this. And so as you also acknowledge him constantly and see him in everything and see it this way internally and of him, then it's beautiful, because then you just tend to want to do more pure things. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you for Accept TV. And this. Haribol. Jai Shri Shri Radha Muladhara Ki Jai, Shri Gaura Chandra Ki Jai. All right. I'd like to acknowledge Nitai Chand Prabhu. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, Jeffrey Eckler. How are you, Jeffrey Prabhu? Good to see you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'm glad to be here. I missed you guys. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Yeah, I miss you too, Jeffrey Prabhu. Welcome. Welcome back. Nitai Chand, you driving safely?
If he is, then he probably can't respond, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah, Baba Prabhu. Baba says Hare Krishna in the chat. That's very important to say Hare Krishna. Thank you, Baba.
And I think it's also important for us to remember that we can always just pray for everyone. So if you feel like you're struggling to just kind of do things for yourself and you can't, reach out to other people or do a favor of doing prasadam distribution, then you can support those who are, or you can pray for people, right? So you can chant the Maha Mantra and be doing it while you're on the subway, like Amrita Kishore Devi Dasi, and then just, even if it's below, like really softly, you're kind of helping that vibrational energy in the space. So yeah, even if you're not here, Jeffrey Prabhu, you're in our hearts, and we're always thinking of you and praying of you. And we're praying for everybody on this call, and we're praying for everybody who's listening to this on YouTube. And let's pray for all the souls who are seeking shelter, and maybe they don't know that ultimately the best shelter they can seek is Krishna's, but hopefully it's somewhere or another they'll get a taste of that. So Hare Krishna.
Prasadam is there for them. It's steadily going out. Jeffrey Eckler, please chant my rounds for me today, if you can. Pray for me.
I'm right on it. Haribo.
Great. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, Laka says, Hare Krishna, lovely conversation to bring bhakti in our daily life. Exactly. Yes. If you're skiing, ski with Krishna, like Bruce Prabhu. And if you run into a tree, then take it as a blessing. See what's packaged in that. All right. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Please forgive me. I was a little cranky. That's how I am. Your true level of advancement plays out when you're challenged. So here I am, bumbling, aspiring.
You still show up. You were cranky, but you still did it. So it's okay. We love you.
That's my saving grace, that I can throw myself into the association of the devotees. No matter how I'm doing, consciousness-wise, I can always throw myself in your association, for which I'm thankful. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhujinis. Thank you for these insights today, Martine says. Thank you, Martine. Nitai Chand says, Girid Govardhan Prabhu tomorrow. So he was able to type. That's good. That's good. He's probably driving Tesla or something. Or he's walking. Nitai Chand. He has the best style. Matchless gifts. Check it out. Nitai Chand. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for showing us matchless gifts. Yeah, see, it's there for us. You wanted to say something, Nitai Chand?
Oh, no. Haribo.
Can you at least affectionately call me Bihari Lal like we always do?
Yes. I'm really excited tomorrow. Giri Govardhan. He's amazing.
We lost you, Nitai Chand. You're walking too fast. Okay, let's wrap it up. Thank you very much, Sundar Anandaji. Good seeing you.
Hare Krishna, good to see you, Prabhu. Very good. Thank you for bringing bhakti into our daily lives through this program.
Yeah, daily bhakti. Daily bhakti, that's our program. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Love you all. Hare Bol. Forgive me. Hare Krishna. Come again.